I never imagined I'd feel as betrayed as I did, standing in my own driveway, the engine humming beneath my fingertips like a hopeful heartbeat, only to have my mother snatch the keys and hand them to my sister, as though they were a golden scepter meant for royalty. But that's exactly what happened. Let me start from the beginning, the long road to this moment. Are you sure, Mom? I asked, straining to keep my voice steady, as we stood outside the dealership. The morning sun glinted off the rows of shiny new cars, sleek sedans, bulky SUVs, and a few hybrids with green trim. It all looked like a catalog for a different life, one I'd only glimpsed in daydreams while stuck on my 30-minute commute in last decade's hatchback. My mother, Patricia, smiled and patted my arm. Absolutely, honey. You've worked so hard these past 2 years. You deserve this. I swallowed. Deserve. That's a strong word. I mean, yeah, I think I've earned something. But a brand new car? She nodded. You graduated college with honors while working 2 part-time jobs. You saved every penny. You finally landed that stable position at the marketing firm you love. This is your reward. I glanced at the price tag. Even with the financing plan I'd negotiated, the monthly payments would stretch my budget thin. But this was my dream. A reliable ride, heated seats that didn't crunch my back, Bluetooth that didn't drop calls mid-conversation. No more tape deck, no more duct-taped upholstery. Go ahead, Mom urged. Pick the one you want. I walked between the rows, a mix of anticipation and nerves knotting my stomach. Finally, I spotted it, a metallic charcoal gray hatchback, compact but roomy, with a panoramic sunroof and safety features that would make my old clunker weep with shame. The dealer had me behind the wheel in minutes, and I cranked the key, pressed the fob, and the engine purred to life. It felt like victory. Sold, I told the salesman with a grin. I signed the paperwork in a daze, Mom beaming beside me. We posed for pictures, her arm around my shoulders, both of us holding the keys between us like a shared trophy. Then, with a final pat on the roof, I slid behind the wheel. A sudden twist. Wait, Mom said, reaching out to stop me before I closed the door. My heart fluttered. What? Do I need to adjust the mirrors? She shook her head, her lips pressed in that familiar way she had when she was about to deliver news, or a lecture. Mom turned and saw my sister, Emily, stepping onto the pavement from our family sedan. She was dressed in a crisp blouse and jeans, looking every bit the promising college graduate she was, fresh from her internship, and on the brink of a full-time offer. I waved. Hey, Em, Mom and I just got the car. Mom's eyes glowed with pride. Actually, she started. My pulse skipped. Actually, Mom turned, produced a second set of keys from her purse, identical to mine. My chest tightened like a vice. I want Emily to have these. My mouth went dry. What do you mean? Mom's gaze shifted to Emily. She deserves it. She's been juggling graduate school applications, interviews, and helping Dad around the house. She's under so much pressure. I'm doing that too. I burst out, my voice louder than I intended. The dealer looked over, eyebrows raised. Other customers paused to watch the family drama unfold. Mom hesitated. You've done well, but Emily's at a critical point in her career. She needs reliable transportation more than you do right now. I stared at her, dumbfounded. Emily's eyes were wide, an uncertain smile on her lips. Mom, you told me I deserved this. Mom turned back to me. We've been discussing, you told me to pick my car. I signed the contract. I tried to keep my voice calm, but it came out shaky. You told me this was for me. Mom's face hardened. And it is. But circumstances have changed. Your sister needs it. I felt a rush of heat. Anger, humiliation, confusion. My hands trembled on the steering wheel. You're giving her my car? Mom took a step closer. I'm giving her the keys. You can share it. I'm sure you can work out a schedule. Share. 3 little letters that felt like a punch to the gut. I envisioned my morning commute, customized seat position, carefully taped phone mount, and the first coffee stain I'd tried and failed to clean. All of it. Hers now? I opened my mouth, wanted to argue, but words tangled in my throat. My dream car, my hard-earned independence, handed over to my sister because she deserved it more. The aftermath, I pulled out the keys from the ignition and handed them back to Mom without a word. Took a step out of the car, letting the door swing closed behind me. The metallic clang echoed in my ears like finality. Emily stepped forward, uncertain. Sis, I didn't know. I cut her off. Don't. It's your mom's decision, not yours. My voice was cold, brittle. I slammed the remote lock. The hatchback's lights blinked twice, like a wounded creature flashing farewell. Mom tried to reach for me. Honey, please. I shook my head and without looking back, walked straight past the showroom in stunned silence. At the entrance, I paused, hand on the glass door. My reflection stared back, tear-streaked cheeks, mascara smudged, the new car keys dangling from my clenched fist, even though they no longer fit any steering column. Then I stepped out onto the pavement, swallowing my pride alongside the lump in my throat, and called an Uber. $30 I hadn't budgeted to anywhere but away. Where do you turn when home isn't a safe place? The ride to my apartment felt interminable. Bright city lights streaking past, the hum of tires on asphalt, the faint smell of rain on the breeze. My mind spun through memories. The day I'd gotten my first car, a used Civic with more miles than nerves, Mom cheering, Dad teasing me about safety features. All those moments felt like lies now. When I reached my building, I dug the spare key from my purse and unlocked the door. My apartment studio, barely 400 square feet, looked the same, but I was different. I set the abandoned keys on the counter and flopped onto the couch. Emily's high school yearbooks, my stack of unpaid bills, the half-eaten frozen meal warming in the microwave, everything felt cluttered, suffocating. I pressed my face into a pillow and let the tears come. Not loud, just a quiet knot of grief. I never expected my own mother to choose someone else's need over mine, especially for something I'd already earned. My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend Sam. Hey, dinner tonight? Coffee? You okay? I stared at the screen, heart aching. I wanted someone to fix this. I typed back, not okay. Can we talk? A friend to the rescue an hour later, Sam, a gentle soul with a knack for listening, was sitting on my couch, 2 steaming lattes in hand. He set one beside me, and, he prompted softly. I closed my eyes, inhaled the coffee aroma. Mom gave my new car keys to Emily. He blinked. No way. I opened my eyes. Yep, said my sister deserved it more than I did. I worked 2 years to save for that car. I signed the loan. Mom watched me cry over that payment. And then she gave Emily the keys. His jaw tightened. That's awful. I scrubbed my hands over my face. I feel worthless, like every accomplishment gets erased. Sam slid his coffee closer. That car was a symbol, not just transportation. It was your freedom, your independence. And she stole that from you. I nodded, tears brimming again. What do? I can't just let her drive off with it. He tapped the cup. You have options. Talk to your mom. Demand an explanation. Or talk to your sister. Ask her to give the keys back. If that fails, maybe talk to the dealer. Tell them you were coerced into signing over the keys. It's not legal, right? I thought it through. Coerced maybe. My mind ticked through the finance contract. I hadn't signed anything legal handing over title. Just Mom handing physical keys. Title was still mine, legally. The car is in my name. Sam nodded. Then it's your car. You don't need her permission to repossess it. A sense of relief flickered. For the first time in hours, the problem seemed solvable. Okay. First step. Talk to Mom. The confrontation. I called Mom that evening. She answered after 3 rings, voice bright. Naomi, I was going to call you. I have your car. My heart sank. We need to talk. She sighed. I just thought Emily's schedule starts tomorrow. She needs it for her new job. I kept my voice calm, as if I were presenting in a meeting. Mom, that car is my loan. My monthly payments. It's in my name. You can't just reassign it. She bristled. I paid half the down payment. You paid half because I asked for help, I snapped. You watched me scrape together the other half through paychecks at the cafe. You promised I could do what I wanted with it. Her silence rang. Finally, she whispered. I did promise. I inhaled. Mom, I love you, but this isn't okay. You can help Emily get her own car, or lend her yours temporarily, but not this way. It's disrespectful. She hesitated. I'm sorry. I thought I was doing the right thing. I softened. I know you love her, but that car was my dream too. You took that away. Her voice cracked. I didn't know how to handle things. I'm sorry. She's my baby. You know? Anger and pity warred. I know. I closed my eyes. I need my car back. She exhaled heavily. All right. I'll bring the keys over. I let attention seep out. Thank you. Sister versus sister. The next day at 2 p.m. sharp, Mom arrived at my building, keys in hand. But so did Emily. She barged up in her work uniform, phone in hand. Mom, what are you doing here? She demanded. I need to get to the clinic. Mom handed the keys. Naomi's taking the car back. Emily's face went red. She can't do that. I need it today. I stepped forward. I'm sorry, Emily. I need it too. Her jaw clenched. You're selfish. Something broke in me. Don't call me selfish. Mom promised me this car was mine. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Hurt, resentment, surprise. I thought you loved me. I felt a twist of sorrow. I do. But loving me means respecting me. I worked for this. She sniffed, glared at Mom. You always pick her. Then to me. Fine. Keep it. I'll walk. She stormed down the stairs. Mom watched her go, guilt etched in every line of her face. We stood in the lobby, the echo of Emily's footsteps fading. Mom turned to me. I'm so sorry, honey. I knelt and hugged her. Just include me. Don't choose. She nodded, her tears dampening my hair. I won't. New beginnings that night. I slid into the driver's seat and sighed as the engine roared awake. The seat was still warm. My favorite cafe receipts tucked in the console pocket. My sanctuary. Mom and I shared a quiet dinner, pasta and salad, laughing over stories from my childhood. She promised to help Emily find her own car this weekend. I realized something. It wasn't the car itself, but the respect, the recognition of my effort and my worth. Getting the keys back was more than a victory. It was a reminder that I belonged at the center of my own life story. As I backed out of the parking spot, I glanced up at the night sky, the city lights shimmering like a promise. Tomorrow I'd hit the highway for my weekend road trip. Windows down, favorite playlist pumping. In the rearview mirror, I'd leave behind doubt and drive confidently into the road ahead, knowing that even when the ones you love make mistakes, you have the power to reclaim your dreams. I merged onto the highway, the taillights of other cars stretching out like a river of rubies in the dusk. My favorite playlist, folk rock and soulful ballads, filled the cabin, and for the first time since that morning's storm, I felt a grin tug on my lips. The long drive to Lake Benson would give me space to think, to process, and to remind myself why I'd worked so hard, not just for this car, but for the independence it symbolized. 1. On the open road, the speedometer climbed steadily to 65 miles per hour as the city gave way to rolling hills. I rolled down the window, letting the cool breeze to hustle my hair and carry away the last of my frustrations. In the rearview mirror, streetlights blinked out one by one as I entered the quieter outskirts. I tapped the steering wheel in time with the music. You can do this, I whispered to myself. Your life, your choices. And in that moment, the car, the engine's steady hum, the plush seats, the reliable navigation system, felt like an extension of my own resolve. Halfway to the lake, I pulled into a rest stop with a "don't quit on me" grin. Behind the wheel, I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. I slipped out and stretched, tasting the scent of pine and damp earth. The pain of earlier had softened into a memory I could hold in one hand, the way betrayal stung, the way reclamation healed. From my purse, I pulled out my phone and tapped a message to Emily. Hey Em, hope you're okay. When you're ready, I'd like to talk. Love, Naomi. No reply yet, but I felt at peace sending it. Then I turned toward the lake, its surface smooth and dark under the rising moon. I sat on a bench and watched crickets blink in the underbrush. In my pocket, the duplicate set of keys Mom had returned rested like a promise. 2. A midnight visitor. By the time I climbed back in and continued on, the road had narrowed to 2 lanes, flanked by dense woods. The headlights turned the trees into wraiths. Somewhere behind me, an owl hooted, a reminder I wasn't alone in the quiet. Then, faintly at first, I heard pennies ping on metal. My heart jolted. I realized I'd left the passenger door slightly ajar when I stretched on the bench. I pulled to the side, flicked on hazard lights, and jumped out to close the door, just in time to see a figure waver into view under the dome light. Naomi, Emily's voice, soft and trembling, floated in the darkness. I spun around, relief and worry tangling. She stood there, arms crossed around herself, rain from earlier glistening on her hair. Can I get in? I hurried around, unlocked the door, and she slipped inside, collapsing into the seat. I'm sorry, she blurted before I could say a word. I sank into the driver's seat, suddenly understanding. This was her midnight confession. It's okay, I said. Draping a blanket, I kept on the back seat over her shoulders. She wiped her eyes. I felt so guilty. You've had that car less than 48 hours, and I made you give it up. I leaned forward, voice gentle. Mom made the call. I asked for my keys back. That was enough. Emily nodded, sniffing. But I felt like I'd stolen your dream, and once I thought I did, I panicked and quit my new job to not have to drive it. I got home, cried, then realized quitting was worse than driving. I should have fought with Mom, for both of us. Her voice cracked, the moonlight catching tears on her cheeks. And I didn't. I reached over and squeezed her hand. Hey, you didn't steal anything. Mom just made a mistake. We talked it through. You'll find something your own ride, soon. She leaned her head back, exhaling. Thank you, I missed you tonight. I turned back to the highway. There's my favorite diner up ahead. 1 a.m. pie and coffee sound good. Her face lit with a faint smile. Best idea ever. I accelerated, the road curving ahead, and realized that redemption could come in late. Night apologies, shared blankets, and cherry pie under neon lights. 3. The all-night diner. We slid into a vinyl booth in Pete's all-night diner. The hall light a warm glow on formica tables and chrome stools. A sign proclaimed best cherry pie in 3 counties. Ketchup packets, sugar shakers, and menus littered the table. 2 slices and coffees. I told the waitress, a red-haired woman with a nose ring and a knowing smile. Emily sipped her hot chocolate. I never thought I'd be here, confessing my car sins at 1 a.m. I grinned. There's a first time for everything. The waitress returned with steaming coffee cups and 2 large pie slices. The first bite, sweet, tart, flaky, felt like home. We ate in companionable silence, the hum of conversation merging into soft vinyl music from the back. Finally, Emily said, I could never have kept it together alone. You've always been my rock. I shook my head. We're siblings, we take turns being each other's rock. She laughed through a mouthful of pie. Promise me you'll let me know next time you need a ride, okay? Always, I said, raising my fork in salute. 4. The path forward. The drive back home was easy, the pie settling pleasantly. At home, we pulled out the spare mattress from the closet and set it up in my living room, so Emily could crash for the night. She yawned, slipping under the blanket. Home sweet sublet, she said, eyes heavy. I switched off the TV. Here's my key, I said, handing her the spare key to the bedroom closet, where she could hang her clothes. You're welcome anytime. She sat up, a flicker of emotion in her eyes. Thank you for everything. I smiled, flicked off the light, and climbed onto the couch. The apartment was small, but now it held something it hadn't before. My sister's laughter in the hallway, her late-night whispers of dreams, and the promise that we would take up each other's space, not push each other out. 5. Morning reflections. The next morning, I woke to sunlight streaming through the blinds and Emily's alarm blaring from the sublet spare room. She emerged with a grateful grin and a travel mug of coffee. Morning, sis, ready to conquer the world, I stretched, born ready. I grabbed a fresh mug, and we sipped coffee side by side on the tiny balcony overlooking the street. A neighbor raked leaves. A bus rumbled by. The city was waking. Emily sighed. About that job. I'm going back tomorrow. I emailed my manager. Family emergency. She understood, and they'll let me share rides or work remotely 2 days a week. I nodded. Sounds perfect. She brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. I'm also going to look for a used car, something reliable, not fancy, and maybe painted a sassy color. I laughed. Deal. Over the next few days, Emily treated me to breakfast burritos from our favorite food truck. We co-worked in coffee shops, me on my UX design courses, she on job applications. We called Mom together to tell her about our breakfast and pie night at Pete's, and Mom cried with relief. I found myself refreshed in unexpected ways. My commute no longer felt stale when shared, my apartment felt lived in again. That car wasn't mine alone, It was our catalyst to reconnect, to relearn sibling solidarity. One evening, over homemade pasta, we began brainstorming a new joint venture, a sister vlog about budget-friendly car hacks, road trip playlists, and learning to navigate family drama. We jotted down names like Drive and Thrive and Sibling Road. Later, we laughed until our stomachs ached, imagining ourselves on YouTube, matching wits and sharing wisdom. That Sunday, Mom dropped by with homemade lasagna and a dozen pink roses, handing me the keys to my hatchback. "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice thick. "I never meant to hurt you." I was overwhelmed. I hugged her, smelling tomato sauce and forgiveness. "I know, but next time, let's talk." She nodded. "Promise." Back in the driveway, I slipped behind the wheel again. This time, I drove with Emily beside me. I let her adjust the mirror, fiddle with the radio. We lashed our jackets over the seats, rolled down the sunroof, and laughed as the wind tousled our hair. "Destination, Beachcomber Point," I said, tapping the GPS. "Road trip." Emily cheered. I packed snacks. We sped down the highway, two sisters on a mission, one pre-loved car, two eager hearts, a shared road stretching endlessly ahead. And in the rearview mirror, I saw not pain or betrayal, but possibility. Every mile a fresh start, every turn a new choice. Together, we'd navigate the journey, side by side, fueled by forgiveness, bound by love.